Welcome to the Nutrition Collaborative podcast, where we cut through the noise, bust the myths, and bring you nothing but truth about health, fitness, and everything in between. I'm Alec Moore, dietitian, and each week we'll dive into what really works when it comes to achieving lasting health and fitness. No gimmicks, no BS, just real talk, real success stories, and a holistic approach to living your healthiest life. Whether you're here for practical tips, inspiration from real client journeys, or just to find out what's actually worth your time, this is the podcast for you. Let's break it down, get empowered, and focus on what truly matters for your health. And we are off. Here we go. So I really want to dive in today to which you could honestly consider this a skill and trait, but today we're going to talk about it in the context of it being a skill. We all think that fat loss is about willpower or discipline, when in reality, those who succeed long-term with their fat loss all have one thing in common, and that is adaptability. So, however, diet culture sells rigidity, perfect meal plans, no cheat meals, no rest days. But in reality, in actual implementation and application, life is going to throw you curveballs every single day, and when you are least expecting it. And those rigid plans crack under pressure. So adaptability allows you to mold to whatever that situation is and be flexible to that situation, instead of either just quitting or completely bailing on the whole thing. So missing a workout does not mean the entire week is ruined. You just shift things around and get back on track tomorrow because you are adaptable. And this is something you can practice as well. So it's not that you have to just be more flexible. Just be more flexible. It is a skill that you can refine, you can sharpen, and you can get really good at with practice and with guidance. So let's talk about some examples of skill-based adaptability. One could be swapping your food choices while eating out to stay within your macro limitations or macro requirements. You are adaptable. It's not that you are going off your meal plan and going quote unquote way off track. You're still on track. You're just adaptable in that scenario or in that situation. Another really good idea, knowing how to be adaptable in the gym setting and changing a workout, swapping a workout or an exercise for a different one if equipment is taken or equipment is down, the machine's broken or something like that. Knowing and feeling confident in yourself to make that adaptable change. It's not that the end of, or the whole workout is just a failure now. And another one would be shifting your mindset when weight loss stalls. So I'm not even saying a plateau, just when it stalls for a moment. Shifting that mindset of, oh, wow, I'm a failure. I didn't succeed this week. Well, no, that's not what we're trying to really distinguish between the two. We need to be adaptable in that scenario or that situation mentally and mentally overcome that and say, no, I'm going to adapt to this and I'm going to make a change versus I'm just going to hang it up and call it quits because of one weight loss stall. So at the end of the day, you could reframe that as it's data, it's not failure. Because now you just have more data to work with that you can move forward with. And that's adaptability, which is a trainable skill that you can get better at with practice. Okay, so here are 4 practical ways to implement or build adaptability in fat loss. Number 1 is a plan B mindset. Number 2 is detached from perfection. Number 3 is micro pivots. And number 4 is reflection loop. I'm going to discuss those now. So plan B mindset, that one's kind of self-explanatory. Always having something backup, a meal or a snack or an exercise within your training session or your workout. So if there is something taken by a group of 4 teenagers who are texting more than you can move on to the next thing or substitute it because you are adaptable in that scenario. So it's really, there are little, different categories here where you can be adaptable in. And one is mindset, one is training, one is with your nutrition, one is with habits, one is with weight, all these little different areas where you can be adaptable and get better at being adaptable in each of those scenarios. So number 2 was detach from perfection. Okay. So you're never going to be perfect with your plan. And if the plan is good enough, it shouldn't be intended to be perfect anyways, because it should fit around your life and you should be adaptable with it, flexible with it, as a framework, as a guideline, as a direction, not as the end all be all. So aim for consistency, not flawless execution. Big difference there. Micro pivots. So instead of saying, I'm going to start over, it's Saturday morning and I've already had, 1,500 calories for this brunch we went to, and I already had some alcohol. So I'm going to flush the rest of the weekend down the drain. Well, if you micro pivot the rest of that day, you're adaptable. You say, you know what? No, I could do a lighter lunch, or I can skip lunch and have a lighter dinner, and it balances everything out. Oh, wow, we're still on track because I was adaptable today. Not because I wasn't perfect at the start of the day, because you could lose 3 days of progress and actually regress if you just say screw it the rest of the weekend, and say, you know what, I'm just going to get back on track Monday. Or you can micro pivot, make a few adjustments the rest of the day, have confidence in that adaptability and that audible, and there you go. You're still on track and it feels good. And reflection loop. So ask yourself, what's the best decision I can make in this situation or this scenario or this circumstance? Not what's the perfect choice. Losing your entire mind because you're so stressed out that you can't make the perfect choice, or the perfect choice isn't available. Make the most of whatever that situation is. That is the best you can do, and that's succeeding. I think it's important, it's not necessarily like adaptability does not mean that you are lowering your standards. It just means that you're creating resilience. And so I kind of want to walk through some more examples here. So almost think of it. So I was actually on my morning walk this morning with both my dogs, and I saw a trash truck, and I came up with this analogy, and it's I don't know if it's gonna be received well or not, but we're gonna go for it. So picture a trash truck, right? The trash man is hanging off the back of the truck, right? And he jumps off at each driveway or each, business or each residential home, and grabs, trash and throws it in and moves onward. Okay. So he's bouncing off to the left, he's bouncing off to the right, but at the end of the day, he comes back to center to keep going forward on the trash truck, right? So adaptability in that sense, like you're probably like, how the heck is he going to talk about adaptability with a trash truck? Well, that truck keeps moving forward, right? So picture yourself on your fat loss journey. You bounce off to the side, but you get back on the path that goes forward. That's adaptability. You bounce off to the left, so that, for an analogy, bouncing off to the right on that first stop at that first house, that could be your best friend's bachelorette party, right? You're adaptable in that scenario, but then you get back on track and you move forward. So being able to kind of roll with the punches, being able to kind of hop off the path, knowing that it's actually not necessarily off the path because that truck is still waiting for you, that trash truck is still waiting for you to pick up the trash, and then you move forward, you get back on it. And then you hop off to the left and get that address or that residence trash. You pick it up, you get back on your path. So those little instances, you hop off the trash truck. This is terrible. I think it's gonna be received well though, because you're always moving forward. So picture those moments. You're not hopping off the truck and the truck's driving away. You're only hopping off for a couple seconds and then you're right back on. And 90% of the time they are on that truck, just sitting on the back, just rolling forward, right? To the next place. It's the same thing with fat loss. So you should be able to roll forward and live those little life scenarios, hopping off the right, hopping off to the left, where life comes up, and it's always going to come up. But if you're adaptable, then that won't make you regress. But if you have the mindset of perfectionism, then it could, because you could be like, well, I'm not going to get back on that trash truck. I'm not going to get back on that path forward because I can't, I jumped off of it, but how do I even get back on? Well, it's not off and on. Everything should be fluid. Everything should be transient. Everything should be like a machine, an adaptable freaking machine. So I think the biggest point I'm trying to make is that fat loss is not about willpower and discipline. The most successful people who lose weight and keep it off are highly adaptable. And they don't care about happy hours because they know how to approach them and go to them and be adaptable in that scenario. They know how to be scenario in the gym setting. They know how to be adaptable in their mindset. They know how to be adaptable in their habits and in their day-to-day. And if something starts poorly, it may not end poorly, such as a weekend or a night out with the fellas, The biggest take home, I think, is stop thinking that you have to be perfect with everything and just keep refining the skill or trait, if you want to call it that, of being adaptable. It's great in every other setting, right? It's great in the workplace. It's great in relationships. It's also great on your fat loss journey. That's what I've got for you today. Thanks for tuning in.